Hello, and welcome back to Season 5 of the Fresh Finds Podcast, the show about discovering new music with good people. I'm Ryan. In this episode, I'm joined by Gabby and Josh of the New Jersey emo band Afloat. How are we doing, guys?
Doing good.
Good to hear.
Good, thanks for having us.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, thank you.
We've been kind of trying to put this together for a couple of months now, so I'm glad that it was able to work out, and we've got some timing that worked out with a new release that'll be coming up, but we'll talk about that in a minute. For now, I'd like you guys to just introduce yourselves and maybe give a little bit of, say what you do in the band and give like a brief history, perhaps.
Take the floor, Joshua.
All right. My name's Josh, and I play in Afloat. I play bass, and I've been with the band the whole time. Me and Gab holding it down.
Heck yeah.
I helped like writing and stuff too, and Gab and I both work on like the creative direction. Honestly, like everything back end too. She manages like a lot of like the management, but. When it comes like to the direction and like the kind of things we do, it's pretty split between us.
And even like merch and things like that, I would imagine, stuff like that.
Yeah, like all of that. And I think we coexist pretty well. We're usually on the same page, and we have very interesting takes. I'm always interested to hear her opinion on something.
Nice.
And I feel like she respects mine as well.
Definitely a good dynamic.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I'm sure people have said this before, but bands are like relationships, you know? Mm-hmm. It's the ebb and flow.
Yeah, absolutely.
But it really is, you know? It's something you have to maintain and take care of.
Well, and I mean, even just like being in a relationship, if you can't live with one of the people in your band for an extended amount of time, then you're not going to go very far, because how the hell can you tour if you can't stand each other for more than, a day or two?
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, it's like running a business too. I know that like strips away the fun of it, but like, yeah, who you work with too really makes or breaks the band, you know?
Oh yeah, and 100%.
Yeah. So there's a lot of factors to it. But I mean, me and Gab, we've never really had many issues between us.
Well, that's good.
Yeah. So it's really good. You want to know like the history?
I would let Gabby introduce herself a little bit, and then we can kind of get into that. But yeah.
Cool. My name's Gabby. I play guitar and sing in the band and write lyrics. Josh helps with lyrics too. We started this. I met Josh at Rowan. What was it, like 2018?
Yeah.
2018. So I was doing my capstone project, and I wanted to do an EP. I never sang before Afloat. I never really, I wasn't extremely interested in like fronting a band. I just really liked playing guitar and doing like audio stuff. So for my capstone, my initial idea was to do like basically like a post-rock explosions in the sky type EP. But then I ended up, it's so different. It's crazy. But I ended up like going through a lot of personal things, just like writing lyrics to songs. And then I was like, okay, I'm just going to put a band together for my capstone project. And I guess I'll sing because I wrote this and I'm just going to do it. It's for school. It's a project. Like, I just thought of it as that. And I had session players, and then they bailed. And then I actually ended working with Josh at the studio at school. And I was like, hey,
okay.
That's how we met. We met at Rowan, working, like doing the studio together. So just like overseeing the studio and stuff like that. So I was like, hey, do you play anything? And he said he plays bass. I'm like, okay, cool. I have like this capstone project, which I need to graduate, and these people bailed on me. Can you play on it? And then do you know any drummers? And at the time, Josh was playing with someone else. And then that's basically how Afloat formed. Like, we recorded my capstone project at school, ended up singing. And then for part of the capstone project, you had to do a release show. So I booked the release show. Yeah. So the capstone project was pretty intense. Like, we recorded something, mixed and mastered, booked the show, promoted the show, and played the show, like all for, to graduate college. So
what was this program specifically? Was this like a recording program, or
it was recording. So me and Josh both have a degree in music tech. It's like music tech, basically.
Music and gotcha.
Specialization in tech. So after the release show, everything went well, and like people, I think, liked it enough. So I was like, let's keep doing this. And then we just hit the ground running. Like, we played so much. And I never felt super comfortable singing until like honestly the last 2 years, which has been
Really?
like yeah, it's been quite a journey, especially when you go to school with a lot of people that, have been doing this their whole life or like they took lessons when they were prior to college, they get into college, it's very kind of intimidating as if you don't come from like a trained background. So I was very
Yeah.
like intimidated, I had kids around me that have been doing this their whole life and I'm just like coming into it. So that's
I
basically
could
like how we
definitely
started.
see that. That's one of the interesting things about like my college experience because I also went to college for audio production. But I think the
Nice.
interesting thing that feels a little bit different is that I went to a school where that was very much not the main thing. Like I went to a
Hmm.
technological university, and so most people were like engineers and stuff like that.
Oh, cool.
And so it was really interesting because there were a ton of like musicians and stuff like that that went there, but most of the degrees and things like that were like minors. It was stuff like stuff that people weren't focusing on. Audio production was really like the only one that was like a major. And so it was really interesting because like there were a ton of talented people, but nobody that was like pursuing that like as a degree, like performance or anything like that as a degree, which is probably a little bit of a different dynamic than like going somewhere where there would be like, performance degrees and things like that as well.
Yeah, the program was pretty new when I got there because I went to 2 colleges before. Like, I did a community college and I went to Rutgers Camden, like, trying to
Okay.
figure out what I wanted to do. But, I was doing, like, music, like, general music at Rutgers, and they really didn't have a good program. And then one of my friends was like, "Oh, Rowan's doing this new audio program. You should, apply." So when I got there, it was, like, the 2nd or 3rd year, I think, that it started, and then it kinda took off, I feel like.
That's
Yeah,
cool
it's like
though.
way bigger now.
Yeah, it's a good program, like, I always recommend people that are trying to, like, figure out what they wanna do and, like, wanna pursue this, I always say, like, "Rowan, I had a great time, I had really good relationships with my professors and, like, even after college," and I feel like also if you're in state and you wanna save money, I feel like, why not?
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, that's a little
So
bit of history.
so you said that you kind of did like the first show and you were like, actually, this is like a really good fit, and then kind of like continued to pursue it. Your second EP came out in November of the next year, 2019. So was there a lot of like were you guys doing a lot of like writing or playing shows or anything like that in that time, or was it very much like a new thing that you were like, I don't know if we'll pursue it a whole lot, maybe not? Like, was there like a whole lot of questioning it, or was it a lot more like this feels right? Let's just go with it.
I think after being around people and like going to school and just seeing like the possibilities of what you can do,
Hmm.
I think that kind of like gave me a sense of urgency. Because before like I was with a lot of people that like I had friends before Rowan that didn't pursue anything creative. Like I really didn't know anyone that was like, oh, like, this is my major. Most of my friends were like nursing majors or like, other practical things that are just like a very clear path.
Hmm.
I think once we got there and we started playing and we were both working at a music studio together, I was working at a music store. I feel like I kind of just like dove into like, this is what my life is going to be continuing on. Like it was a cool project to do. I kind of felt like it's only going to be as good as I make it. So I was like, I'm just going to commit like all my extra time, my extra money to just doing the band thing because I've seen it work for people. So I was like,
Yeah.
I want the same thing. So I was all in. After that, I've been in.
Hell yeah. And are you guys both still like working in like audio and or production in some capacity for like your day job?
Josh, what do you? Well, Josh technically
I
works at a studio.
not like on a day-to-day basis. I work for a recording studio, but I do like administrative work for them for
Oh,
the
okay.
music program they run. Yeah, but I will still I'll like occasionally run sound for there's a venue near us called Warehouse 3, and like every now and then something will come up, but not on a regular basis. No.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I kind of slowed down. I was working at the same studio, but I kind of got more of an office job, and then I run my collective, and then I freelance doing sound. It may feel like a lot sometimes, but I try not to overdo it because, like, I feel like it just takes a lot of time and energy, especially like running sound. Because I run the collective, we bring all the gear to our space where we throw shows, we set everything up, we break it down. I kind of like the balance I have now, where it's like I get freelance projects. I take them if I want to, and if I get sound like show offers, I'll take them if I want to. But I've been really trying to like not burn myself out, so I've kind of just
and
been
being
like,
able to not have to take everything in order to make your
yeah,
income probably makes that a lot more enjoyable.
yeah, and more so like mental health wise. Like I feel like I'm coming to terms like I don't have to help everyone like with shows. I don't have to do sound all the time. Like I need to prioritize like just resting, like true resting, and just making sure like physically and mentally I'm in a good spot and not just like overworking because I got too caught up in like throwing shows all the time, doing sound all the time, trying to get clients all the time. Like burnout is real, and I feel like I'm feeling it more as in like how tired I am because I'm slowing down, like hustling a lot.
Yeah, I'm kind of wrestling with that right now too. With like, I'm in a good place with the podcast where, people are excited about it. They want to come on, but also like I'm kind of reaching the end of like how much I can expand and do it myself without like bringing on a whole team. And I think that I'm kind of like finding that boundary right now of like how much I can do and still stay sane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It
I
gets
totally
hard because
get that.
you want to help people and like you're so excited that people like what you're doing. Like when I started booking shows with the
Exactly.
collective, it was so nice having people in our community like Gabby, like, yo, help me with this show. Or like I get touring bands all the time. Like if I can't do it, I at least give them connections of like other bookers I know or like just contacts. Like, hey, I
Yeah.
can't do this. Like I'm too busy, but hey, hit up my friends or like try this venue. Cause like now it kind of feels nice to say no because like I am tired.
That I feel like that's actually a good transition though. Like, do you want to kind of talk about Head Above Water Collective and kind of what that actually encompasses?
Yeah. So when I first started the collective, I was working at a venue around us and I was booking and doing sound, um, which was fun. I got a lot of cool touring bands in this little dive bar. Josh would come hang out, like all our friends would come hang out. And then
Mhm.
all of a sudden they told me, like, hey, we're closing next week. Thank you for booking and running sound. And I was like, this sucks. And at the time, I was, one of my friends had a house and he was like, I asked him, I was like, yo, can I throw shows in your basement? And
Yeah.
I did. I made sure like, the basement with all the gear was correct. Like no one outside was like causing anything for neighbors. I made sure to like clean up the house when, just to respect the space because it's not my house.
Oh,
So I
for
did
sure.
that
Yeah.
for like I burnt myself out. I was doing like a couple shows a month, like either at the house or I was just booking other places. And then I expanded to Philly. And then I kind of slowed down towards the end of last year. I was away for a month on a tour. And then this year it's kind of transitioning more into like audio work. So me and Josh, because Josh is part of the collective too, like he helps me a lot, especially with
Mhm.
like running sound and having like an extra person. But I think this year I'm kind of transitioning more into like recording. I even floated the idea of like becoming a label. But I really want to do live sessions. Like me and Josh have been talking about this for like, I feel like it's been like a year or two.
Uh-huh.
It's been a while.
So I kind of want to
Yeah.
transition to more like helping bands because I have a lot of friends that are like, hey, like I always see that you're posting like demos and recordings. Like, how do I do that with my band? So I think I'm gonna start like showing people like how to record. Because I like doing that. I taught at
Yeah.
Drexel teaching audio. So like it's cool to like show other people that like you could record your own demos and like, have stuff to show. So I think we're just gonna transition more into audio realm, but also I'll still be booking like here and there, but not like
I
my focus.
Yeah.
So
I do like that idea. I've actually got a friend around here in Detroit who does a very similar thing. He's got a studio called The B Room, shout out, where they also like just record like local bands. They do like live sessions in like live off the floor sessions in the studio and then they post them to YouTube, which I think is super cool. I always like
Yeah.
that idea.
yeah, it's great because then it's like I don't have to be anywhere, because like being a promoter and booker, like yeah, I'll have someone like running sound or whatever, but then I have to show face, and I'm like, oh, I'm busy like doing things. So it's nice to be like in my own home and like delegating the time. Like I don't have to be at a load in, I don't have to be at a sound check. Like I just tell people when to come over or what we're doing, and I feel like it's gonna be so much better. And I love like recording, so I'm like, I want to do that more in a controlled setting than like live sound. Something goes wrong. Okay, now I got to figure it out. Okay, now it's not working. Now the show's not happening. Like it's less stress.
Yeah. And I also saw that you did a couple of years ago a 90s cover compilation with the Head Above Water Collective as well, which I haven't listened to any of that yet. I just saw it like an hour ago. But that looks like a cool sort of project as well.
Yeah, I was like dabbling. I'm trying to like, get all my stuff together, especially with like doing the band camp. And I was like, oh, what's another cool like way to like showcase local bands without like booking a show? And I was like, let's just do a cover comp, because I see people do it all the time. So I'm like, all right, I put up like a poll, and there were so many responses, and I was like, okay, an hour later, I was like, okay, who wants to be a part of this? I was like, all right, give them the people what they want.
Hell yeah. That's definitely, I put out a cover compilation last year, and I learned how much goes into that sort of thing, like just wrangling people, even if they're recording their own things, just making sure that you check up, make sure that everybody's like on the right timeline and all that. Like, It seems like, from what I can tell based on like our conversation so far, you seem like somebody who is very good at managing a lot of moving parts.
Yeah, I don't know how I do it. I feel like my brain's just always going. Like I'll text Josh during the day, and I'll be like, hey, X, Y, and Z. An hour later, hey, X, Y, and Z. Oh, and I'll be at band practice. I'm like, oh, let me tell you guys this while it's on my mind, because I'm just like, I'm constantly like on my phone, but not in a bad way, because I'm always like on Twitter or X or like Instagram, just like talking to people and like getting emails back, because I do all the booking. So it's like constantly like doing this. It's just like second nature to me to be like, oh yeah, by the way, this is happening. Okay, cool. This band got back to me. Got to get back to them. Like, I feel like, I don't know, it just nonstop.
But I also feel like there's there's very much a difference between, always being on your phone and doing the doom scroll versus like always being on your phone and like responding to emails, responding to DMs, making shit happen. Also, Twitter is the one thing that I will allow people to dead name as much as they want.
Oh God.
But yeah, I'm just like constantly, because I know how it feels not to get a response back from people. And I hate feeling that way. So if I see the notification, I'm already in. I'm already looking at the calendar. I'm already looking at my email. Like, I'm answering you right then and there, because like I want it to be done. As in, like, I don't want to be like, oh my God, I forgot this person asked me about a show like 2 weeks ago. Now I feel bad. So I just, once I'm in my phone and I'm looking at a chat, I'm done.
Honestly, major props for that, because I think that that's like one of the hardest things of, all of this sort of stuff is just staying organized and actually making shit happen, because there's so many people who will talk a big game, but then won't actually like see it to completion. There's so many people who have like a great idea. They make the first couple steps and then it just doesn't happen. Like it's insane that anything happens, right? If you think about how much goes into it.
Yeah. And I have OCD and anxiety. I'm like, this has to get done, or I'm going to feel some type of way about it.
I'm just going to freak out. Yeah, no, I get that for sure.
Oopsies.
So after all of that, about a year and a half ago, it probably was, you guys released, I have it right here, I'm trying to do the late night thing where I actually show it. But your first, you would consider that a full length album, right? An LP?
I feel like we call it an EP. Like, that was supposed to be an LP, but we call it an EP.
Yeah. Okay.
But I feel like it's an LP. We talked about this the other day. I'm like, that was an LP.
Yeah.
Basically.
This incredible project, however you categorize it, where I stand, which I always just thought that was interesting because, like, I mean, it is kind of like in that gray area where it's like it's enough songs that people could consider it like an LP, but it's also like short enough that it's kind of on like the longer EP side of things. And I've seen it categorized different ways on different streaming services. It is really confusing, but
For sure.
you guys had that come out about a year and a half ago. How was the like the initial reception on that?
I thought it was pretty good. We put a lot of work into recording it, obviously, and then promoting it afterwards. And it definitely opened up a lot of opportunities for us that we're very grateful for. And and you know, like everybody around us, you know, said it was a great project. They enjoyed listening to it too. So you know, we felt that it did pretty well for you know how we put it out and everything. Do you want to add to that, Gab?
Yeah, I thought I just think it's a great project. I really think it was a huge step up from I feel like what we put out, more so like in like songwriting and like production. Yeah, I feel like it really made like a statement for us, like because there's so many bands like, around here. We live right outside of Philly. Like we are 10 minutes from the city. So it's so like there's so many bands in the city, and like there's bands in our area, but I feel like it kind of gave
Philly's
us
just absolutely popping too.
Yeah, Philly's nuts. Philly
it's
is
competitive.
Crazy. It is, yes. There's a lot of bands. There's a lot of people doing their thing. I feel like it kind of like was like, oh, that's Afloat. Like we've been around, but like I feel like that really just like pushed us to like, oh, like this is Afloat, if that makes sense.
Kind of cemented your place in the scene a little bit more, having like a bigger project.
Yeah.
For
and
sure
it was
it did.
a step, like I feel like musicianship, like I feel like it's like a whole new life that I had from like the previous EPs and projects that we put out. So I feel to this day I love it. Like I feel like it's such a great project.
And listening to it too, I also hear like the natural evolution of your sound, because I feel like, you know, starting at the very beginning, it was a lot more kind of, you know, jangly indie rock type of stuff. And, you know, that project I feel like leans a lot more into like the emo side of things and has its heavier moments. It's not, you know, like a super heavy record by any means as far as sound, but you know, you've got moments here and there of like some screaming vocals and like some heavier guitars and things like that I think is a really cool natural progression to what you guys were doing before then.
Yeah. Every time we write, Gab goes, I want to be heavy.
I like it.
It always
I'm
comes
into
out
it.
one way or another.
I'm like, Josh, I want to be heavier.
She goes, I want to be heavier.
Are there any... Oh, go ahead.
I was going to just say, I agree with you. Like, it's not like a heavy project, but it has, you know, some tones, you know. I feel like it fulfilled the desire that Gab, you know, wanted.
Are there any like fan favorites on the project that people are like always asking to hear?
Mouth Shut. I feel like Mouth Shut, and I feel like I've been seeing a lot of people like really get into On Me.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Just like I don't know, I've been noticing it too. I'm like, oh, cool. And then
it's interesting that you say that, because I feel like the back half of the record is definitely my favorite.
For sure.
I feel like Crash too. When we like the ending of Crash, people get into.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I can see that for sure.
Mouth Shut's a crowd fave.
Yeah, people be singing.
That's the thing. The chorus is such a good like sing along hooky type of chorus that like I could definitely see that, you know, during a set, people who know the songs are just waiting for that one just to be able to scream along with it, you know?
Yeah, it's great. I think Mouth Shut's probably one of my favorite songs that we wrote. Honestly,
it's a fun one. One of my favorites is "Through My Veins." So it's like kind of chill.
Yeah.
You know?
It's a good palate cleanser for right around like the middle of the project, I feel like.
For sure. Yeah, it's a good way to put it.
I mean, and that's one of the things to me that's like really important that not everybody gives like the most attention to is like the flow of a longer project and like making sure that it's not just like, you know, either front loaded with bangers and then like the back half people are just going to turn it off, or like, you know, just being able to have like a proper like kind of emotional arc throughout the project and being able to have like the ebbs and flows of like a little bit of a slower song versus like a little bit of a faster or a heavier song.
Yeah, that was one of my huge things going into this project. I kept asking everyone and asking our producer. I was like, does this, because we were essentially going to do an album and we had 9 songs going into this EP, and then we just cut it down to 6. And I was like, do these 6 make sense? Like all the time I was asking, I'm like, do these 6 songs, the order makes sense for the project? And I'm so happy we picked these 6 and how we put them out.
Yeah, we would just rearrange them and listen to them and, you know, noted how we felt, you know.
That's such a big part of the process, though.
Oh, yeah. You end up hating the song by the end, or any song. You're like, God, mix 4, listening to it again.
Yeah.
And then God. Does it fit after this song or should it go here?
We were so
final, fucking final. I swear to God, this is the last one.
Version 4 for real. Yeah. Yeah, a lot of that.
Yeah.
And like shooting the music videos and listening, like we did everything like back to back.
Yeah.
Like we wanted everything done just so like when it was released, we were just putting out content. Like we don't have to do anything. Like, oh my God, going from like the mix revisions to shooting the music videos like shortly after, I'm just like, and then we have to play them. I'm like, oh my God, I'm so over all these songs already.
But I think that that's smart too, making sure that everything's ready for the rollout, because there's definitely, you know, a lot of bands, especially on like their first bigger project or whatever, where it's like you get it done, you get super excited, you get the masters back, you upload it to like all your distribution, and then you're like, all right, cool, shit, we have to promote this.
Yeah.
We stay promoting.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot.
You don't think about it till it happens. And then when it happens, you're like, oh my God, this is a nightmare if you're not ready. Yeah.
So we did a lot of preparation for like the recording and like all the promo, all the PR, all the videos. Like we committed like, I feel like a year from like recording to PR stuff to putting it out to playing.
Close. And then like we mapped out like how we wanted to promote the singles and in what way, and like dates on a calendar, you know.
Yeah.
There's a lot to it.
So kind of like moving forward from that, you guys have a new project that's going to be coming out at the end of, we'll say this month, but next month as as of the recording date, you guys are going to be putting out a split.
Yeah, we're doing a split single release with Dummy Pass, which I'm really excited for. We've talked about doing a split with another band for like so long, and I'm friends with Dummy Pass. I've booked them a couple times, and I was like, guys, have any plans this early summer, spring? Like, what are you guys doing? So we finally like got together, and I'm excited that it's coming out.
Yeah, I think that that'll be a cool project. Granted, I've only heard your song from it, but I have no reason to assume that that theirs is not going to be equally as good.
It's so good.
I'm sure.
Cool. Listen.
And is that really how it came about? You were just like, I've been wanting to do a split with somebody. Are you guys free to do it? Or did you guys have like any sort of like, you know, sort of connection where you're like, oh yeah, this is the band that we're going to do it with?
I think we've just been friends with them for a bit, and I ran into them like in passing too a couple times, and Henry's super cool. Me and Henry text pretty often, and I was just like asking their plans for like the summer, because we were trying to like link up and do some shows together, and I was like, we've been wanting to do this, like what do you guys, you know, what are your thoughts? And they were about it and excited, and I was like, all right, like let's figure this out. So I think like it came naturally just because like we both really like vibe with each band. And they're super nice, so I think I'm happy it happened with them.
Nice.
So.
And then on top of that, you guys also have a tour coming up at the beginning of, or a little weekender. I don't know the exact details of it, but a run of shows anyway, coming up at the beginning of the month. Is that correct?
It's
Kind of the middle of the month?
Yeah, it's basically Memorial Day weekend. We're doing like a Thursday through Sunday run
Nice.
with Mud Whale and Old Neon, which I'm super excited for. Just because we haven't been doing a lot of like longer runs, just because of like we've been just trying to save money for like the next project, and it's getting so expensive to even do things. We used to do tours. Like we would do a tour, like 10 plus days, like before pandemic. And I feel like after pandemic, like even though it was a couple years ago, just still like the prices of like renting cars, like hotels, like it just adds up. And we're at a point where it's like we're trying to save so much money for the next project. And if we do runs, we kind of want them to make sense now. Like we're not just going to go to like Timbuktu with any band, if that makes sense. Like we kind of want to like, make the shows like the best we can make them with like people we want to play with. So I think
look at the analytics, make sure that the people are going to come out to it, make sure that it's going to perform, as opposed to traveling all this way and then finding out that, oh, it's a show where you're basically just playing to the other bands that are on the bill.
Yeah, we try to be strategic about it.
Yeah, super. Like our last tour the last tour we did was really good. Like we played we went out to the Midwest. Like we love going out Midwest. Also, like,
was that around the time of Coachella last year?
No, last tour we did was like 2022.
Oh, really? Oh, so it was a while ago.
Yeah, we've just been, just saving money and just trying to be smart, like just strategic. Like, does it make sense for us to do this? Like, or should we just really capitalize on really doing well in our area? Like, since we're so close to Philly, we're like an hour and a half from New York, so we've been trying to like build more so like fans like in the tri-state, and then have a solid foundation, and then okay, cool, we do really well at home, let's slowly start to migrate and like loop around and see like a progression each time, because like I personally don't like wasting money on things like we just become really like smart, and like this run I'm super excited for. But we're gonna start grinding some more and venturing out Midwest more. We just had to get things together.
Well, and like you were saying, that is one of the great things about where you guys are located specifically, is that there's so many places within such a reasonable driving distance that you can really just kind of do like a show here, a show there, but they're all like technically within like different communities or like slightly different scenes, which I'm sure makes things, significantly better for that, as far as like, seeing a good turnout, as opposed to like if you're somewhere where the closest city, the other closest city is like 5 hours away or whatever. You're probably likely to play your same city a whole bunch, which reduces your draw if people think that they can just see you again, in another 2 weeks or whatever.
Yeah. Like we're doing like a couple shows in 2 weeks. Like we're playing New York, Philly, New York, and Connecticut. So I'm like, okay, cool. Yes. Philly, right there. New York, an hour and a half. Connecticut, couple hours. But yeah, we're trying to focus like on this area more and get like a solid turnout to our shows. I mean, build more of like community of like people coming out to see us, and then slowly start migrating out. I think it makes more sense to do that. Like, than, hey, we're going to do this tour again, and we just spent like $500 on gas, another $500 on hotels or Airbnbs. Now we're out $1,000, and it's just, things have just been getting expensive, and it's hard.
Yeah,
it's tough.
I think that that's one of the things that a lot of people, probably more on the periphery, people who are, a lot closer to the others probably recognize. But maybe one of the things that some people don't realize is how expensive it is to tour, and the fact that a lot of people end up losing money when they do that stuff.
Yeah, for sure. Traveling, feeding everyone, and finding out where to stay and stuff like that.
Yeah. But hopefully we're just going to keep doing these, like, coming out towards like Ohio, runs, and just
Yeah, it's
come
fun.
back. Yeah, it's fun. It's easy to drive, and it's like we could hit so many different places. So.
I'll tell you, I'm definitely looking forward to the next time that you guys come to the area, because the one time that I've seen you so far, which was at Coachella last year, was absolutely a knockout show. It was one of the, one of the times that you see a group play and you're like, all right, this is something special.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
I
Yeah.
appreciate it.
Of
We
course.
always say like the culture out there is really nice.
Yeah.
It's
For, like, the
it's
genre.
very tight knit, despite being like a little bit spread out. That's just kind of how the Midwest is. But
Yeah.
Yeah, we have a lot of friends
So-
out there, so it's nice coming. It's
Yeah.
always nice coming out. I like seeing my friends out there, and everyone's so welcoming and just like it's great.
Hell yeah. So, do you guys have anything else that you specifically want to talk about before we move on to the next part of the episode?
I don't think
Nothing.
so.
Nothing on my end.
Yeah.
All right. Then we're
Yeah.
going to move on to the next part of the episode here, where we're going to play some new music, some fresh finds, if you will. We're going to start with me, then we'll go around, and I believe that we've each chosen 3 songs. Everything sound good with that?
Yeah.
All right, lovely. So my first song that I want to feature is by the band Leisure Hour. They've been really having like a huge moment right now. Like if you're anywhere on Twitter or anywhere that's kind of being hit by this like DIY emo scene, I'm sure that you're familiar with them. But this is their newest single, which came out at the end of March last month, and is their second single, their second release with PNWK Records, who have also just been, absolutely killing it recently. So this is Ode to Muncie by Leisure Hour.
Never gonna get out of this town, am I, boy? Ain't anything you want, man.
We're changing in the city where we grew up, feels complacent. But my mom keeps telling me it's in my head, and I don't care what she said. I'll lay in bed with a cigarette and bush light in my head. Another day, another weekend. I'll pack my things to see a weekend. Spend the day reminiscing of all the times that we've been missing. Another thought, another freak out. Let's have some fun and plan a week out. Spend some time staying up all night.
That was really cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they are absolutely killer.
We played with them last year.
Okay.
I think so.
Yeah, they came to Philly. I forgot what month it was. I feel like it was like September or October. But yeah, they were great.
Yeah, and I mean, it's so interesting to me hearing their new stuff as even compared to their album, which came out last year. I feel like this new stuff that they're putting out is just like such a big step up as far as production wise. Like it feels so massive, which I absolutely love.
Yeah. Seemed really
I love the
polished too.
Yeah.
It was clean.
Yeah. Big guitar
I think it
tones.
also, yeah, the guitar tones are incredible. I think everything also just sounds a little bit fuller than like their previous projects. I'm curious if they're like if they're working with a different producer or if they've just like learned a lot since they made the last album. Like if that was like done DIY or whatever. But I feel like just everything feels larger than life in this recording, and I absolutely love it.
I think they recorded at Soundacres, which is Gary. It's like more south of his studio is more south of us. I feel like they went with him. I might have saw something. I don't know, but I feel like they did go to Gary.
Yeah, that would be cool. I mean, it's the like lyric wise, it is definitely like kind of your emo pop punk, like kind of hate my hometown kind of song, but at the same time, like it feels still fresh. That's the thing that I really like about it.
Yeah.
As well as just talking about PNWK Records, those guys like hopped onto the scene last year, and I feel like they've just been making moves this entire time, like signing bands, doing crazy stuff for the scene. Like they're the like main sponsor behind Excellency Fest, which is one of the festivals here in Michigan this year.
Yeah.
They've been signing a whole bunch of people. They just had like a month ago the thing where they bought out all of the debt and backlog from Thumbs Up Records too, which was just total class act thing to do.
Yeah, I definitely would like to work with them. I told Josh about them. I was like, Josh, they got a lot of our friends on there. We should send something their way. They're listening.
Know, right?
They're always listening. You'll see them in like the most crazy places, and they'll just be like, "Oh yeah, we're here." Like they just like pop up out of the woodwork in places. Yeah,
they seem really really cool and about the scene and about helping bands out, and I respect that a lot.
As well as just like the way that they like from what I've gathered listening to them talk about like their business practices and things like that. They seem very music first. Like it doesn't feel like they're what they're doing is like motivated by like making a profit or anything, which I think is really cool. They're really just in it for the love of the game.
That's awesome.
That's really cool. That's awesome,
Yeah.
And I just can't wait to see what's next for Leisure Hour, because as far as I heard this through the grapevine. I don't think it's confirmed yet, but I think that they're working on another full-length project, and I'm super hyped for whatever that ends up being, because all of these singles that they've released this year have been incredible.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I can't wait.
So, what do we have up next?
Josh, you want to go or you want me to go?
You can go.
So it's a song by Mud Whale called Sacrifice.
Hell yeah.
It's literally my favorite song from them. So
this was such a great project.
I'm sorry.
Like I said this was such a great project. I featured one of their songs a while back, but I finally got to see them live about a month ago, maybe 3 weeks ago, something like that. And seeing them live is even more incredible than listening to the record. Like they just have so much energy on stage.
Yeah, we met them in 2022. We played Mahal's upstairs when they were
upstairs,
Yeah, when upstairs was a thing, and
that would have been right after their first record, then, right?
Yeah,
I think so. They were awesome. I remember seeing them. I was like, "Yo,
yeah, super nice." Like, oh my god! And then we reconnected at Falchella. I was like, "Oh my god!" Yeah.
Because they opened
yeah.
day 2, right?
Yes.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. I caught like the very end of their set, and that was the first that I had heard of them, and I was just blown away by everything that I heard. So I'm super glad that they've been getting the flowers that they deserve recently.
Yes.
Chasing me all around this place. I'm feeling off again, doing everything I can to get away. You're so closing in. I never wanted you to sacrifice your reason. You know it doesn't justify your treasons, but you will sit down on your throne, complain all about how it first started on that train to nowhere. Too late to say too much, I wanna regret. I'm still hanging. I know it's crazy, but isn't it body breathing? Just be careful when you come. I think he's camping in the front. That's my love. Love is coming through. Leave my body at the exit line, waiting to see what you can find. Show me where your demon hides. I know we can make it out alive. Sit down on your throne, complain all about how it first started on that train to nowhere. Too late to say too much, you wanna regret. Remnants of wreckage found by the light of a highway sign. Give me your cancer. Give me your cancer. Tell me where your demons hide. I know all about all the souls that you save. What fuck your world, no one ever leaves it. I know things don't go the way that you planned. Sometimes it's hard to see the truth, but anyway, it's too late to say too much. You wanna regret.
I love that song.
Yeah.
I love
That
the
whole
guitar
pro-
tone. Oh,
Yes.
Sounds so good.
It's just absolutely massive.
yeah.
I also
Love all the
Yeah, I also love like the little part where they break it down. They go to just the bass. They have the little like the little radio announcement thing, and then they go
Yeah.
to and then they go to the just the bass, and then like everything builds back up. I'm such a sucker for that. Like it's such a simple thing to do in a song, but it gets me every single time.
Love a good breakdown too.
Mm-hmm.
Great vocals, screaming. That's
Yeah.
like that. I don't know, it's not like screaming, but you know what I mean.
Well, they do some of the more like guttural screams along with
Yeah.
like the kind of like yelling stuff. Like the way that they layer that, I think, is really cool too, because it's got
For
the
sure.
like emo yelling kind of thing, but then they mix it with like the lower gutturals to make it sound like fuller, which I think is
Yes,
super
yeah.
cool.
It is pretty cool.
The other
can't
thing
wait
that I go ahead.
I'm sorry. I was gonna say I can't wait to hear the song for a couple days in a row. I told them I was like,
Yeah.
we're playing together, but my one request of this whole run is you play Sacrifice every night. I
We're
can't
not
wait.
doing the tour unless you guys
Yes.
make sure that this song is in the set list.
Yes.
One of the things that I took away from seeing them live is like my background is in production and guitar, and so those are always the things that I notice first when I listen to a song. And it wasn't until I saw them live that I noticed how crazy good their drummer is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's
monster.
yeah, just absolutely tearing it up on every single track. But it's like it's something that I need to see it live and actually see like the physicality of somebody, you know, just getting sweaty behind the kid.
Like the pocket fight,
y-
like
exactly. Like there's something magical about like seeing a really good drummer live that like I always like I notice those things so much more when I see a band live than like when I listen to the record. But when I listen to the record after noticing it, then I'm like, oh yeah, it's right there. Why didn't I notice it before? Yeah.
yeah. I love a tight drummer when there's like a lot of like either like different time signatures or like all crazy taps, and I'm just like, this is insane. How are you keeping like this together? Like it's crazy.
Yeah. Well, and they do a little bit of that more like kind of proggy stuff on like a couple of songs. Like they don't lean into it super crazy, but you know, on a couple of different tracks, they've definitely got that for sure.
Yeah. Excited to see them, excited to hear them.
Hell yeah.
Heck yeah.
All right, so Josh, what do you got for us?
We can start it off with the common crime.
All right.
Ghosted.
You want to give me a little bit of introduction on that?
Gab put me onto them. They're a good band, you know, from Philly, and we're going to be playing with them next month.
Nice.
At a French bar, and it's just good, you know. I think it's a great song, and I just wanted to share with them, you know, because the local bands and everything.
Hell yeah, let's go. Oh yeah, they bring the energy. Hell yeah.
Yeah, beefy
Yeah,
bass, you know.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah,
like-
the bass specifically was something that like stuck out to me. Like the way that they mix it, they leave a lot of room for the bass to really kind of be the foundation of the song, which I
Yeah.
think is like I feel like there are some like there's kind of two camps to that in like this type of music, which is like you've got the guitars and then there's like the bass that's kind of like underneath it acting as like the foundation, or like this type of arrangement and like mix where it's like a lot more of like the focal point, I feel like.
For sure. As a bassist, bring it out.
Yeah,
Put the
yeah,
guitars
absolutely.
You know?
Bring it out. Bring it out.
Kind of gives me like a little bit of like a Pup vibe in a way, like
Yes.
vocally reminds me a lot of Stefan from Pup, but also like I don't know, a lot more of like what is it? The Dream is Dead. Is that the name of the first record? I think. Anyway, it reminds me a lot more of like that era. Where it was like a little bit more raw, and just like super high energy, which I thought was super cool too.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're really good. Super nice. I actually met Alex, the guitar player and vocals. We were filling in for another band for a show, and he's like, "Oh, like this is my band, Common Crime." I was like, "Oh, cool!" And we ended up playing with them end of last year, I think, like at Creep Records. They're really good.
Yeah, I think so.
He's a really great guitarist too. Super nice. I'm excited we're playing with them again next month.
You said that they're from Philly.
Yeah.
Nice. And they're also super new too. Like they don't have any music out before like this time last year.
Yeah, they just started.
Nice.
I think Alex was in a band before. But yeah, super new, and they've been playing a lot. I know they're going to record at Studio 4, their next project.
Nice.
Which I don't know if you know, it's Will Yip Studio in Philly. But yeah, I'm excited for their new stuff to come out.
Yeah, definitely investing in this band early, it feels like, because I feel like they're like just based on the sound, it feels like they're going to get massive.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of potential.
Yeah, for sure. All right, so my next song was actually a direct submission. If you are listening to this episode and you make music and want it to potentially be featured on an episode of Fresh Finds, freshfindspod@gmail.com. But this is by a band called Headlight Rivals, and they're kind of like a hard rock, alt rock band from Kansas.
Kansas.
Yeah, which I feel like you don't really hear about like bands from Kansas in this scene a whole lot. So that was like the first thing that stuck out to me. And then the other thing that stuck out to me, they are on Dumb Ghost Records, who have sent me quite a few really cool bands. But like they do in their emails a like, you know, the for fans of thing. You're familiar with that, right?
Yeah.
But the choices of bands I thought was really interesting because like kind of, you know, 90s inspired like hard rock, alt rock. They had like the Foo Fighters in there, which I thought was cool. But then Local H, which is a band that I feel like almost nobody would know by name. They had like a couple of hits in the 90s. But like I like looked it up and I was like, oh yeah, I definitely know this song. But I think it's kind of cool when bands do like a little bit of a deep cut for their like for fans, you know, for fans of thing. Because I feel like if you go too broad, then it's like, oh yeah, I like all of these bands, but they're all like super popular still. I feel like if you have like a deep cut, then somebody's like, oh, I know that, but I'm definitely gonna fuck with this for sure, you know? So anyway, this is by a band called Headlight Rivals, and this song is called Someone Else's, which is off of their second full-length album, which came out at the beginning of April, called Drum Machine.
I had a good one till she said she didn't want me. I had a good line, it must have drove my heartbeat. It was a nice run, got it on the first take. looking now. No way we can help it. Then you're finally walking out like someone else said. 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 Someone else
That was gnarly.
Oh
Big
yeah.
Yeah. Hello,
rock
breakdown.
Yeah.
I don't know what it was, but it was so good.
It's so classic. Like it feels like it like scratched a part of my brain that hasn't been scratched since I listened to like the radio in like 2007 in my hometown. You know?
God, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for real though.
Like,
Yeah, it was like
this
big
is
guitar.
yeah. And I think the thing that's really cool is it kind of does that throwback sound, but it feels very modern at the same time. Like,
Yeah, I agree.
and it also doesn't feel like pandering. Because that's another thing is like sometimes when you do like, you know, more of like a throwback sound or like, you know, what people will often refer to like in the metalcore space is like octane core, which is like, you know, metalcore that's very clearly made to be played on Sirius XM Octane. A lot of people don't like that kind of stuff because it sounds like it's like pandering to a specific demographic. And this doesn't have that at all. It just like, it's just got that raw je ne sais quoi.
Yeah.
And I love it.
Yeah, it reminds me of the Lemonheads. I don't know why. You ever listen to the
I
Lemonheads?
don't know.
I get that for sure. Yeah. That's a pull that I haven't thought about in a long time, but I like that that one for sure.
Yeah, that's good. All right, Kansas.
Yeah,
I know, right?
Yeah. You know, honestly, you know, thinking about it a little bit, because I was like, oh yeah, this reminds me of like listening to the radio in my hometown. I wonder if it's influenced by that, like, because Kansas, you know, I feel like for, you know, a lot of the state is very much kind of like a middle of nowhere, very rural type of area. And those types of places tend to have, you know, rock radio stations that don't get a whole lot of new music very often. And I wonder, like, I mean, obviously most people at least in the US have the internet and access to Spotify and hearing new stuff and whatever. But I wonder if just like, if that type of radio was a big influence on this specifically because of the area that they're from.
I never thought of it like that.
Yeah,
that could have a lot of like influence on it too.
Because I mean, even just going back to like my hometown, because I'm from the Upper Peninsula of Michigan, which is kind of from, you know, a similar type of like very rural type of, you know, country type of area. And people do listen to the radio a lot, and that type of music is still very prevalent even in the streaming age. So I feel like it just kind of like it popped into my head, but I feel like that just makes sense.
Yeah.
Wow. The radio, lost art.
It really is. I've actually just recently started listening to the radio a little bit more, like in the car, just like as a way to, you know, kind of get out of my daily routine of like, oh, these are the top things that I've been listening to on streaming. You know, these are the CDs I have. And it's actually, you know, introduced me to a lot of music that I haven't listened to in probably a decade or more. And hearing it now that I have like a more astute ear, you know, for like noticing, you know, just things about music. It's like I'm getting like a second life from these songs that I used to hear every single day when I listened to the local radio station back home.
Right. There's a station near us called WXPN. I'm a really big fan of them, and they've put us on a couple times. But I feel like they're really diverse.
Nice.
They have all these different segments that like go on throughout the week in different times. Like they'll have like a local hour, and then they'll do like weird like atmospheric space stuff over the weekends at like 2 a.m. It's very diverse. It's very cool. You know,
independent radio is still sick as hell. Corporate radio is boring as shit, in my opinion, a lot of the time. But like independent radio where the DJ actually gets to choose what they want to play, I think it's so cool.
Yeah, it is. It is really cool.
It's
Yeah.
something I want to get back into. I wish I had the connections and the music taste that I have now, like 6 years ago when I was still in college, because I did like a college radio station thing, but I wasn't tapped in. So I just kind of did like, whatever I feel like I've been listening to. I feel like if I could have done this, what I'm doing right now, but for like the college radio station, it would have been so sick.
Do your own radio station.
Yeah.
Fuck the FTC.
Yeah. Pirate radio, baby.
Yes.
Watched a really
So
cool documentary about that during the lockdown in 2020, just about like OG like pirate radio stations. It was super cool.
Oh yeah.
I forget
I'm
what
sure
it was called.
Crazy.
Yeah, it was really interesting.
I love that.
All right, so what do we have up next?
I think I picked Old Neon, Nobody's a Burden.
Ooh, all right. I'm super looking forward to that because Old Neon is a name that I've heard many, many, many times and still have not listened to somehow. So I'm really looking forward to actually somebody sitting me down and making me listen to them finally.
Yeah, their new song.
Nice. When did it come out?
I think a week or two ago. I'm very bad with dates, so I could be really wrong, but
End
It
of
was weird.
March, the 21st, it
Oh.
looks like.
perfect. I was sorry.
Yeah.
All right. Hell yeah. Let's go.
Lights shining, that's how it feels to me, but can't fight it now. No, survive this. At least I hope I will. Just don't know how. Slept all night, that's alright. Can't say it's easier. Lord said goodbye, and this time looks like I'm really on my own. I guess forever doesn't mean what it used to. And you really couldn't leave me in your rear view, but you know I'll find my way home when you leave me in the dark. 'Cause I'm nobody's burden. I know this for certain. I'll get by just fine, with or without you by my side. Feels like I'm still miles from the truth. Oh, but really, what's the use? Got myself, no one else. I've made it through much worse before. Now I know that I don't need you anymore. 'Cause you know I'll find my way home when you leave me in the dark. 'Cause I'm nobody's burden. I know this for certain. I'll get by just fine, with or without you by my side. I guess forever doesn't mean what it used to. And if you're really gonna leave me in your rear view, you'll turn around one day and regret it. But my heart won't be where you left it. I guess forever doesn't mean what it used to. And if you're really gonna leave me in your rear view, you'll turn around one day and regret it. But my heart won't be where you left it. 'Cause you know I'll find my way home when you leave me in the dark. 'Cause I'm nobody's burden. I know this for certain. I'll get by just fine, with or without you by my side. With or without you by my side.
I am
Rock and roll.
so into that. Oh my God.
Hell yeah.
It's like super like mid 2010s pop punk in the best way.
Yeah.
It gives me like old school Fall Out Boy I don't know why. Like believers never die, you know.
I could see that. I was also thinking like a lot more like neck deep knuckle puck kind of stuff
yeah.
too. Yeah. Which is something that I was like kind of late to initially, but like has had some staying power in my rotation for sure. Which kind of feels like how I'm going to be with this, because based on just listening to that, I'm like, this needs to go on my like summer good weather playlist immediately.
I know. The intro like makes me want to two-step or something.
Yeah. So
Can't
it
wait to
looks
hear
like
this
they
every
put.
night.
What was that?
Can't wait to hear this every night because we're playing with them too.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Are they on that same tour with Mudwhale?
Yeah.
That's awesome. That lineup is actually so stacked. I didn't even realize.
It's been a long time coming.
Yeah. It looks like they put out a full length in 2023, so about a year and a half ago as well. Almost 2 years ago now. Jeez, time is crazy, isn't it?
Yeah.
Do you know if they are like working towards another bigger project, like an EP or a second full length or anything with this single, or is this just, as far as you know, just a single to be put out?
As far as I know, yeah, just a single.
Okay.
We've talked like on like social media a lot because I was trying to get them like a Philly show, and then like we just been wanting to play together, and I was like, hey, we're doing this run, like what do y'all think about this? And
what
then
are y'all up to?
at the same time, what are y'all doing? Because like we're like, oh, we want to come to Pittsburgh again, like I love Pitt. Like, oh, we want to come to Philly, so we're going to show swap. And then, like, at the same time, I was talking to Mudwhale. I was like, yo, how you guys been? Like, I want to link up again. And I was like, oh, what if we do a weekender? And I was like, oh, Dion, what if we did, like, a weekender? And then we just both got it, and I was like, this is amazing.
That's awesome. Where are they from? Where are they based out of?
Pittsburgh.
Oh, okay. I missed that. But yeah, like I know that sometimes, a lot of bands will start doing like just the singles format because like it works better for like social media promotion and stuff like that. But I personally still really like the bigger projects kind of schedule. I don't know. They feel more special to me. They feel like an event as opposed to like, something that happens like once a month or once every couple months or whatever.
Yeah. It's definitely changed rollouts to get in the algorithm.
Yeah.
And I've talked to a lot of people about that, and I feel like a lot of people hold a similar sentiment to me, where it's like the bigger projects feel more interesting or feel more special, but also at the same time, it's kind of like you got to play the game at some point.
Yeah, it is a sacrifice.
Yeah. Definitely.
Honestly, I think that's why I like that split idea that you guys are doing for this next song, because it is a way to do a single but also make it feel like a bigger project or a bit more of an event at the same time. I feel like you guys kind of found like the best of both worlds with that.
Yeah.
Good way to put it. I like that.
That's a good take.
Thank you. Also, just going back to the song, like guitar solos in modern music, like I'm so into it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Love a guitar solo.
Yeah.
I feel like you don't hear that as often.
It's kind of a lost art.
Yeah, I was thinking that.
Bring solos back 2025.
Hell
people
yeah.
are afraid to rip it.
I mean, there's been a couple of reasons that I've heard like from people, and like it kind of makes sense that like in some songs, like especially you go back to like the 80s or whatever, every single song had a guitar solo, and it was a little much. And then I feel like we kind of like course corrected and went a little too far the other way, and like barely anything has a guitar solo. I feel like we gotta like get back in the middle again,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Hell yeah. All right. So what do we have up next, Josh?
Yeah, I'll go. I'll do Sick of It by Birthright.
Okay.
A bit of a genre change.
I'm into it. I like I said before, I like a good ebb and flow within a track list, a set list, a podcast, whatever. You want to give a little bit of background on the band here?
Sure. Birthright is led by Zach. He Zach Crow, and I work with him, and Gab and I are good friends with him. And Gab threw a show. I think it was last week, and they played. And that was the first time I saw them. He showed me their music before, and they have some stuff out, and I was always interested in it. So it was great to see them perform. And they just put out that single not too long ago. So I just wanted to show them some love. I think it's pretty good.
Hell
Zach
yeah.
knows what he's doing. He has a lot of cool ideas, and I hope they come to fruition. So
I've been thinking of ways to cover my skin. Change all the walls so the house caves in. I'm taking off the mask and I'm faced with a grin. And the man looks like me now, how could it be him? Yes, your shifts and ties again. Guess who's on my mind again? I'm sick of it. Yeah, 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 yeah. I'm sick of it. Yeah, 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 yeah. I've been drinking every day, trying to drown my sin. Swimming side by side, what I hide within. Screaming at myself, go and get this win. Stuck past the start, where do I begin? Guess who shifted times again? Guess who's on my mind again? 'Cause I'm sick of it. Yeah, 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 yeah. I'm sick of it. Yeah, 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 yeah. Crawling back to the start. I'll find my way again. I'll find my way again. I'll find my way again. Guess your shifts and ties again. Guess who's on my mind again? I'm sick of it. Yeah, 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 yeah. I'm sick of it. Yeah, 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 yeah.
I am into that. That's super cool.
yeah, it is really cool. We were just talking about solos.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bringing it back.
Well, and the thing that I think is interesting too is it's kind of more of like a pop rock type of song, but I feel
Yeah.
like pop rock often takes this kind of more polished type of sound, and this is like pop rock if it was mixed with like garage rock, which I think is super
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
Just like based on like the guitar tones and stuff like that. It feels a lot more raw.
For sure. The production is cool. It has like some cool moments too, like that little like acoustic guitar section,
Yeah.
I just like when there's like those little hints. And like there's some like vocal flares every once in a while. Keeps it
Yeah,
interesting.
I absolutely love a good stereo delay throw here and there. They had a couple of those that I really liked.
For sure.
Also just the different types of vocal production and the different types of vocal delivery between like the first verse and the second verse. They feel totally different, which again is interesting. It's like the way that it's arranged is always bringing fresh things to the table every section.
Yes, and they have the dual vocals going on. You know, it's cool.
See, that was another thing that I was going to ask, is if both of the vocalists are in the band or if it was like a feature. Do they feature both vocalists fairly often in their music?
I believe they both sing. When we saw them, they were like switching instruments and leading the songs and stuff.
Yeah, it was really cool.
So are they a duo?
No, they have a
don't think so.
bassist, but something happened where he couldn't play, and Zach still wanted to play the show. And I was like, props to you. He's like, yeah, we're playing it as a 2-piece. I'm like, let's go.
Yeah, they made it work. It was,
Nice.
it was a good show. Good performance.
Yeah.
There's something interesting to me about like bands that will do like the trade-off like in the middle of the set or like between songs and things like that. I think it's super cool and like a neat way to bring more life to a set about halfway through. I also feel
We
like
used to do that.
what was that?
Way back in the day when we first started, we would do that. Play musical
Really?
instruments, basically.
Oh,
I
that's
did
awesome.
it I didn't like it because the person that was in the band at the moment, like it just didn't flow and it was too much for what it had.
We were finding our footing.
Yeah. It was interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm cool with not doing it.
Yeah, we don't do it anymore.
Yeah.
I think it's a fun thing to do. I definitely don't think that
It is.
it's nearly a requirement or anything. But there's a really cool band from around here that does that in pretty much all of their sets. There's actually a couple that I'm really good friends with. One is called The Aromas, and they're like a psychedelic like pop rock kind of band, like very
cool.
very like kind of 60s early 70s inspired type of group. And their drummer and guitarist switch off because they both like play both instruments, and so it's just like whoever writes the song sings it, and then they also play guitar on it live, which I think is a really
That's
cool
cool.
way to split it up. That it's just like, oh yeah, this is my song. I wrote it. It belongs to the band, but this is one of my songs that I play versus, oh, you bring a song to the table, you play it live type of
Yeah.
thing.
Interesting.
That actually kind of gets me into something. Like, how do you guys approach your songwriting process? Like, is it a lot of like kind of, just somebody comes up with a riff like during practice and you like flesh it out, or is it a lot of making full demos and bringing it to each other like after they're more fleshed out?
So I will usually make like a demo on Logic with either like full guitar parts, Steven Slate drummer.
Classic.
Yeah. And if I'm really feeling it, I'll do bass, but it's more so just like root notes of what I'm playing, just to like hear like a flow end in it. I know Josh is going to change it. So it'll either be like complete or like ideas there, and then I'll just bring it to practice and we'll just like go over it and like play it and try to like feel it out.
Yeah.
That's most of the.
It depends on what the song calls for, but yeah, it's a pretty good way to put it. She'll like present us something, and then we'll just flesh it out in practice, and then everybody puts their twist on it, and we arrange it and stuff. So and do like 100 demos and listen to it and give everybody homework.
Yeah, literally.
Is it very often that you're bringing like specific song ideas to the table too, Josh? Or is it often that like Gabby will come in with something and then you'll kind of add to it, after the initial kind of like songwriting, demoing, very initial phase is over?
Gab does a majority of the initial like ideas. Occasionally I'll have like something I share, but it's not too often.
He just did one and I was so excited because Josh plays guitar too. So he's like, yo, I wrote this demo, like just guitar, everything. As soon as I heard it, like I was like, oh, I'm adding lyrics and vocals like right now because I was so.
Nice.
I just sent her like. Yeah, I had like a full song, the full instrumental. I just sent it to her, and then like a day later, she's like, "I put the vocals on." I'm like, oh man, this sounds awesome.
Yeah.
Well, and that's the thing about songwriting is even like on an instrument, everybody has their own voice and their own like way of playing and things like that. So I mean, it's really easy to like kind of shake up a sound and still have it familiar, but like slightly different if somebody else is just like writing a different type of part or whatever. I think that's super cool.
Yeah.
And I love that we all know how to record because it's like, okay, cool. Like,
Yeah.
send me this thing, this thing. Okay, cool. Because like I use Logic, Josh uses Ableton, and Andrew, I think, what does Andrew use?
I think he does like Pro Tools or something.
Yeah. So it's like, it's so nice being like, we can all just add something at remote. Because like,
Yeah.
I like coming to practice and like getting like things done, but like also like being prepared to practice and not because like everyone obviously works and like has side gigs. So when it comes to practice, I'm very like, I want to make sure I have all my stuff like prepared for practice so we're not just messing around and nothing happens. So it's so nice to be like, hey,
Yeah.
listen to this demo, learn it like drums. Like if you don't want to play that, that's totally fine, but just get familiar with what's going on. And then it makes practice so much like productive.
We have like a rolling Google Doc, and we'll do like, all right, what is the to do for next practice?
Nice.
You know, because I respect everybody's time. It's very valuable. It's very sacred.
Yeah.
And we have very limited amount of time. So if you can cut down hey, what are we doing today? And, give everybody time to think about it. It really makes it way more productive and more focused, I think so.
Yeah. You called it, doing your homework, and it kind of really is that though, respecting each other's time and knowing that like when I, show up, I'm not going to be the one who doesn't know what's going on.
Yeah. Because we practice at like the end of the day, we get together at like 8 or 8:30. So everybody's tired. Everybody's worked all day. Like you don't want to be up until like 11 o'clock. Like, oh, we have to write this part still. Like, like no, we're not doing it.
Yeah. We all respect everyone's time and like everyone works. Like I said, everyone does like side gigs and stuff. So like when it comes to practice, I'm like, okay, these are like the 2.5 to 3 hours that like we really need to lock in and get it together. So then it's like we're not wasting time because like we have a lot of things planned. So it's like, okay, like this practice we're doing this, next practice we're doing this, and like we just stick to it. We're very like I feel like locked in with like time management and like just general things.
I mean, going back to like the, being a promoter and like, making shows work and stuff like that, I feel like that all kind of like wraps into the same thing of like respecting people's time, trying to get things done on a deadline, things like that. But that also brings up something that I meant to mention earlier and then kind of forgot about, but is the like home recording stuff a lot more for the demos? Are you planning on like for future proper recordings, are you planning on going to a studio again? Because I know that for Where I Stand, you guys worked with Nicholas Starantino, I believe that's how you pronounce it. Are you working with him moving forward as well?
Yeah, he actually so for the single we recorded it like under the collective. Like we recorded all our stuff and then we recorded Dummy Pass's drums and bass. And then we sent ours to Nick to mix and master. And then Dummy Pass is sending theirs to Nick to master. But yeah, we agreed like a lot of like the first 2 EPs were like us recording, mixing. It's just
everything.
like after working with someone and just being a musician and just focusing on your parts, it's so much easier than like what preamp am I using? What amp am I using? Like just the rabbit hole of all the things you have to think about. It's just so nice being like, I know my parts, I feel comfortable. Like my job is to play the parts, not like
I'm just the musician today. I'm not also the producer and the engineer and this, that, the other thing. Yeah, I get that for sure.
And we like, we've been playing these songs, practicing these songs, writing these songs, playing these songs. It's so nice to have someone else who hasn't been with us in all that process to hear something that we may not hear.
Oh yeah.
Or to be like,
the extra ear is really great,
Yeah.
And I was thinking that when I was listening to the new song too, I was thinking that it sounded very similar production wise to the last project. So that was why I specifically like wrote that down in my notes. I was like, are we working with the same people again? Because it sounds very, very similar.
Yeah. We decided moving forward. We like just, getting ready to record, having our stuff together, just being the musician. Some things we'll track ourselves, like I said with this single, but for fuller projects, we are going to work with someone.
Nice.
Yeah.
I think that makes a lot of sense too.
Saves money.
Yeah.
For sure.
All right. So moving forward, my next song, I have to start out by just giving a massive shout out to Warren from the band Dead Billionaires for putting me onto this song, because it was about a week, maybe 2 ago. He just like sent me a DM on Bluesky, which was just like a link to this song, and was like, I thought you would like this, or something super simple like that. But just he was like right on hit the nail right on the head with that. This is a band also from Richmond, Virginia, which is where Dead Billionaires are from as well. This is a band called Rakki, and this is their new song, Snaggletooth.
Existential dread in my head again. Drag my dead old bones out of bed again. Turn the news on, turn the news off. Grind the beans
That's a cool band.
Yeah, it's a fun one.
Yeah.
Kind of going back to
Trying to
like
think
what
of-
I was talking about with a couple songs ago. Like this is just absolutely like a good weather summer type of like, you know, put the top down, roll the windows down, you know, type of song.
It really does have a good vibe to it.
It does, yeah.
I was trying to think who they
They-
remind me of.
I know, me too. They remind me of I cannot put my finger on it.
Are you familiar with the band The Dreaded Laramie from Nashville?
Yes, they
Because
reached
that's who
out to
they
me
instantly
for-
reminded me of.
Okay.
It's like a little bit more
Rick-
garagey than how they sound, but like I feel like the
Mhm.
vibe is very similar.
Yeah, they reached out to me when they were on tour last year trying to get a Philly or Jersey date, and I just like had nowhere to put it. But
Mhm.
yeah, they do.
They're
That's
such a fun
cool.
band too. Yeah. I've seen them a couple
Yeah.
times when I've gone out to Nashville, but this song is just like such a like feel good like song of the summer type of tune. I'm really looking forward to seeing what they do after this because their last release was in 2023 and July of
Oh, wow.
2023. And that was a full length. And this is their first single since then, which came out like, you know, a couple weeks ago.
That's cool.
Wow.
Yeah. I think it's also like, it's just fun lyrics too, you know, basically like the entire song is about their dog and like, you know, going on adventures in the summertime and all that. And I mean, what was it? The lyric in the last verse, make cathartic art drop D on the guitar in the backyard or something like that. It's
That's
such
a crazy line.
it's so fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it really feels like it was made to be just like a summer anthem, basically.
For sure.
Yeah, I get that vibe a lot.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I don't have a whole lot of other background information on them, but just know that I'm super stoked on it. I'm looking forward to seeing what they do next.
Yeah. I'm definitely going to check them out later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're pretty cool.
So what do we have up next?
So next song is by Dummy Pass called Shattered.
All right. Yeah, when you mentioned that you were doing the split with them, I was thinking like I'm not familiar with this band at all, so I'm looking forward to seeing or to hearing some of their stuff. And this is the last year was their first like full-length project, it looks like.
Yeah.
They haven't been around for a super long time. That's cool.
Yeah, not too long.
Washing out my days, wondering if cycles break. If I burn out my room, you wouldn't be the only one. I need to change. Could be yours, I'll be somebody else. You let me drown. Said if I followed your demands, I'd be safe and sound. Or did I misunderstand? I need to change. From being yours, I'll be somebody else. From now on, with all the words you never say, I feel more like me every day. I need to change. Who I've become never seems to be me. All my thoughts were always yours. We were together without this.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
honestly, that was a lot more like kind of post-hardcore influence than I was really expecting going in. Like I was expecting like a lot more of like kind of an emo thing, like what we've been doing, for the majority of the episode. And then I just got hit by those super heavy guitars right away. I'm just like, all right, we're changing gears here a little bit.
Yeah, it's a
you
good
are.
blend.
Great vocals too.
Yeah, no, their vocalist sounds incredible.
Yeah, Henry's great.
They're also from Philadelphia then?
Yes.
Nice. Do you know how long ago they formed? Because it looks like their earliest music is from 2023, but I would imagine
They've been around. So I met Henry. He was actually booking at this house venue in North Jersey. He was in, I forget what band it was before, but I feel like Dummy Pass was like, I think it's before 2023, maybe 2021, 2022. He was also in another band. I forget the name. I'm upset because I forgot the name. But yeah, they've been a while, like around for a couple years. But yeah, he was booking at this. It wasn't a house venue. It was like a collective space where they did like art kind of shows. Josh, I don't know if you remember.
Sure.
It was like a really small, like looked like a house, but it's where they do like galleries, and they would play like in the front of the house outside, and then it got shut down. Yeah, it was a couple years ago, but that's how I met him.
Nice.
Yeah.
And so this is their first full length. They had a couple of a few singles leading up to it. It looks like I think they were all like kind of a separate thing throughout 2023, and then this project came out September of 2024. So that was a lot more recent then. What was like the last band that he was in? What kind of music was that? Was it kind of similar, or was it like a different type of?
It was similar with emo. I think they were called like Puppy Pile. It was similar, like emo, kind of a little bit of like the hardcore vibe. But yeah, super similar.
Yeah, I like that a lot. That was a really cool one. So what do we have up next?
So our friends Elephant Jake, the song's called Locked In. They're from Philly now. They weren't always from Philly though, right? They all moved.
No, they lived in like New York, like I believe it was like
that's what I thought.
Hudson, like that where New Vision's from. I forget, like New Paltz area. And then they moved to Philly. And then Andrew actually filled in for us at Fallcella. Played the guitar. Yeah, he's filled in a couple times.
This is also another band that I was introduced to specifically through Fallcella last year. I was not familiar with them. Like there were a couple people that I was hanging out with that were like, "Oh yeah, this band is really good," and I had never heard of them. And I remember watching their set and just being absolutely floored by like the amount of energy that they had just, on the side stage. Like they sounded so cool.
Yeah. They're all great musicians. Like Sal has a solo projects, where he plays acoustic. Andrew's like in like 3 to 4 bands, and he sometimes fills in for us. So yeah, all around great musicians, great music, good people. So
hell yeah.
I gotta sit down. I've been hustling all day, more like all summer, and I'm starved. 14 long hours I've been gone. Yeah, I missed you too. Every time I come home, I'm falling in love with you again. I guess it's never too late to start cooking. There ain't nothing wrong with a single cigarette. Why don't you go back inside? Dinner isn't ready yet. I'm sorry that I'm tired, but all I ever fucking do is drive. What's a long day to you? You're never around. Never mind your friends or yourself. I'm all you'll ever need. 'Cause there's no way it is for me. I just call that step. Now we're done with
Short and sweet, just getting in, getting out.
Yeah, that's how
I-
they started off that project.
That is
you know.
a crazy intro to the project. I love
Yeah,
the groove on like the kind of like verse section. Like it's so like,
it's like the boom pow.
yeah, it's really interesting. Like very different for the genre, which I thought was, you know, like especially like the drums leading it, and it's kind of like
Mhm.
on a little bit of a lilt. It's not like a
Yeah.
super straight like groove. It's like a little bit like swung in a way.
Yeah, it keeps it interesting, and they have a lot of cool layers, like in the beginning. You know, like the guitar will like support like a vocal section or something. and
Yeah.
it's like just coming in and out. You know.
Well, and also like vocally too, like the delivery is really interesting. Like it's got this kind
Yeah.
of like attitude, and it's almost like rapping, like not super melodic, but it's also not like
Yeah.
not like a rap delivery, but it's, you know, it's got this like attitude to it that is super fun.
Yeah, it feels like a vent. Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's a good way of putting it for sure.
Yeah, it's super cool, very dynamic.
And so this is from 2022, it looks like. Is that right?
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah. Do you know if they're working on any new projects right now?
Yeah,
I don't
they.
know. I haven't seen Andrew.
Last time I talked to Andrew, said I don't know if they're doing an album or EP, but they played one of their newer songs, a show we played with them, and they're incorporating keys now, and it sounded.
all right.
Yeah, I was not expecting it, so I was like, oh, I wonder how this could sound, and like it was really good. So like, I'm excited for their new stuff.
Yeah.
Is it more of like a keyboardy type of sound, or is it like kind of more into like the trippier like synthy type of like layers and stuff?
There's more keys, like just straight keyboard.
Oh, right on. Okay.
Yeah, it was really interesting. It was really cool.
And I also didn't realize how long they've been a band. Their first album came out 10 years ago. Like I thought that they were a lot newer, but they've been grinding at this for a while.
Yeah, they have. Yeah, it's been when I first heard of them,
For
they were in New York, like
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
area, and then I saw that they moved to Philly. But yeah, I've booked them a couple times. Like they're just great working with them, and like every interaction's always like great, like just all around good time.
How long have they been in Philly at this point?
I feel like it's
Like a
been
year?
no, it's been longer. I feel like it's been like
Really?
at least like 2 or 3 years.
Okay.
Oh.
Gotcha.
So I know one of them. I think their drummer still lives in that area up north, and then Sal
Mhm.
and Andrew live in Philly.
Nice.
I
But yeah,
think.
kind of going back to the thing that we were talking about earlier, like how close and connected that kind of like, you know, East Coast area is. That's probably not nearly as big a deal as far as, you know, being able to get together and still practice and work on stuff and, you know, all that kind of jazz.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So before we close out the episode, is there anything else that you guys want to say one more time, or anything that I might have missed before we sign off for the end of the episode?
Just we're excited to play the run next month with the Old Neon and Mud Whale. Super excited about this split coming out end of the
Mhm.
month, and we're just gonna be grinding and, you know, playing more shows and working on new music this year.
Yeah. Come
Hell
out and
yeah.
see us.
Hell
Yeah,
yeah.
come out and see us. And
All
we
right.
didn't grab a vinyl. We still have vinyl and
Grab
shirt
a
deal.
vinyl. 10-inch
I
vinyl.
have one right
Vinyl.
here. Check it out. They're
What is
super
it?
cool.
Yeah,
10-inch.
you won't regret it.
Yeah, and
Yep.
I think it's the only 10-inch that's in my collection right now. I've got a couple of 7s and I've got, you know, a ton of 12s, but I think that's the only 10 that I have, which kind of makes it stand out a little bit, which is super cool.
A lot of people say that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
This
thank
has
you for having
been-
us on.
Yeah, absolutely. This has been the Fresh Finds Podcast, the show about discovering new music with good people.
Fresh.